everyone's writing about the storyline of this fight being more about Michael Chandler and the end of his Bellator deal. What's the storyline from your perspective about what this fight means to your career?
Brian, hang on 1 second. We're having a technical issue. Hang on 1 second, please.
Sorry, man.
All right, Brian, can you try that again?
Sure. How about now? Can you hear me, Benson?
Go ahead.
All right, Benson. We good?
Hang on 1 second.
I can hear him, but I don't.
All right, give it a shot, Brian.
All right, Benson. You good? All right.
Good.
It seems the storyline ahead of this fight from everyone is more about the end of Chandler's Bellator deal. From your perspective in your career, what's at stake? What's on the line? What's the storyline for Benson Henderson in this one?
Same as every fight. You know, at a certain point in your career, the very first fight of your career it starts off with a bang. Every fight you have is the most important fight of your career. Doesn't matter what it is you did before. It doesn't matter, you know, the world we live in, the society we live in. Our attention span is pretty short. And I remember, Shogun Hua did 15 years ago, how bad he was. What about his last fight? The last fight, he looked like the man. Everyone's like, oh, he's awesome, he's great, he's amazing, he's yada, yada, yada. That's what you'll remember, is your last fight. So for me, it is the most important fight I've ever had in my entire life. And I trained that way.
Take me back to that first one, if you can, and just tell the story of the fight from your perspective.
First fight, the biggest thing I think was Chandler had a big first round. You look at all the highlight clips, all the videos of it, everyone talking about the fight. Every positive thing that they say was all about Chandler's first round. And then the rest of the fight leaned more my way. So for me, it's about making sure I go out there and start with a gangbuster first round. And I set the pace, make him tired, make him exhausted. And then the fight from there should again, lean my way, should go my way. I got to bring the fight to him. I got to keep that at such a high level the entire time. I can't give him those 30-second, those 20-second breaks that he's used to. So that's exactly what I'm going to do.
All right, I want to close with this. You're on a 4-fight win streak, which is obviously different from the 1-2 start for you in Bellator. What has been the difference between those two sets of fights for you?
No difference. You know, sorry to have the coach speak for you, but the same thing. You get up, you get ready every day. You have the same preparations. You trust the process. You trust your coaches, trust your training partners. Sometimes fights go your way. Sometimes they don't go your way. There was no revolutionary new yoga program I tried, and I started doing new yoga or started doing these breathing exercises. No, it's just the daily work, the daily grind you put in. Some fights go your way. Some fights don't go your way. And that's what it is. In the last 4 fights that have gone my way, I've gotten my hand raised, being introduced into a new organization. That's definitely different. That plays a little bit small factor into it, but getting used to the organization, getting used to the guys behind the stage, being used to how they walk you out, all that sort of stuff, I think does play a little bit of a factor. But ultimately it's just the daily grind. And, you know, sometimes games go your way. You know, you're an inch short one game, you're an inch too long in the next game. But sometimes you get those calls. Sometimes you're at the right distance, the right timing, and fights go your way.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, our next question will go to Steve Jewin. Your line is live.
Benson, can you hear me?
I got you, Steve.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to ask you about that interaction you had with Michael Chandler at Bellator 242. It seemed a little bit awkward, if you don't mind me saying so. And I wonder if it's hard for you as such a God-fearing Christian man to really get into the heat of the moment and talk smack like that.
Well, which moment are you talking about?
When
242.
during the live Bellator 242 broadcast when you and Chandler were on video together, talking back and forth.
It's hard. Like, you guys are the reporters. You guys are smart. You guys ask the right, proper questions to get the response you want to hear. Like, what do you think about his shoes? Were his shoes okay? Like, I didn't really like his shoes. Oh, you didn't like his shoes? Okay, well, you like so you have a problem with his personality. You don't like him, right? Like, no, I said I didn't like his shoes. Like, so you guys are smart. You guys are good. You guys get the response you guys want to hear. You guys get the audio sound bit, the answer you guys want to hear. But I think, for me, I don't really like Chandler, but it's not that big a deal. You don't have to like everybody. You don't have to like your coworkers. You don't have to like your family. You don't have to like your brothers or sisters. You gotta love them, but you don't have to like them that much. I don't necessarily think Chandler is my cup of tea. But I don't think he really cares that I don't necessarily like him as a person. I don't think he's a super stand-up, good, Dudley do-right person. I think he likes to portray that image, but I don't think he's necessarily like that at heart. But what does it matter with my opinion to somebody else? We're gonna fist fight. We don't need to be friends anyways. So, but no, I just don't necessarily like him. And then the reporters keep bringing that up. I'm like, it's not that big a deal. But yeah, I don't really like him. I don't know.
Well, let's put aside not liking him, and I hope you won't take this as sound baiting when I ask this, but even in not liking him, do you still respect him, not only having fought him for 5 rounds, but seeing that he's the 3-time Bellator Lightweight Champion? Do you respect him?
That's a tough question. Maybe I respect some of the things he has done. He's adopted a child. Mad respect for that. For him and his wife for adopting a child. Mad respect. A ton of respect for that. I'm hoping my wife and I will later on at some point in time where we would also be lucky enough to maybe adopt a few kids and change their lives and give them some love. So mad respect for Chandler for that. But some of the other things I don't necessarily have a ton of respect for him for. But I don't think he really cares whether I respect him or not. But a ton of respect for Chandler on the fact that he has adopted a child. So that's amazing.
All right. Final question before I let you go. Chandler has insisted that the first fight was decisive. He clearly won at least 4 out of 5 rounds. I think the 5th round was very decisive for you, and all of those other rounds are up for debate. So what do you say looking back now on that first fight as you prepare for the next one?
If I'm asked a question and I have to respond, I have to reply, then I have to think of something to say. I have to give an answer back. But I don't really think that much. I don't really like if I'm at home, I don't ever think about the fight. If I'm it's only ever when it's brought up to me do I have to have an answer for that. But the first fight is what it is. All my fights, they are what they are. You can look back at them, you can judge them, you can score them yourself, and you can come to your own conclusion. You can think this, you can think that. It's cool. It's in the past. It doesn't really matter. Chandler obviously has his own opinion. I have my opinion. I know I won that fight. I know he was a dang near broken man from that 4th round going to the 5th round. Looking at his eyes, I knew. See him after the fight. He knew he lost. You don't push a fighter after fight. How many guys have had bad blood and feuded and this and that, and after fight, what do? They shake hands, like, oh, good job, like, man, great fight, tough fight, whatever. They say something, they shake hands, and but a fighter who pushes another fighter after a fight, after having spent 25 minutes trying to beat the person up, after the bell rings, then you push him. To me, that shows a serious amount of your character right there. It shows that you knew you lost, or he felt he lost before the judges gave him that fight. So that to me that says enough right there.
Much respect, Benson. Best of the luck to you on Friday, and thank you for the time as always.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right, our next question comes from Gareth A. Davies. Your line is live.
A very good evening from sunny. Oh, I was trying to video that and then I lost the video. Very good evening from sunny England, Benson.
Sunny over there right now? Wow.
Well, I can't move, can I? I'm bloody stuck here. Otherwise, I'd be with you right now in the bubble.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to go over this because it's kind of been talked about by other people, but my question, when you don't like someone, but you obviously respect something they've done in their life. But when you don't like someone, is it important when you're preparing to fight them that you don't let it become an emotional fight for you, and that you make emotional decisions when you fight that person?
I think for some people it's kind of hard if you don't like somebody and then you're going to get into a fist fight with them. I think it definitely can easily turn into a very emotional, very upset. You're trying to, whatever. But for me, I've never really had that problem. I'm pretty cool, calm, collected. If I like somebody, if I don't like somebody, I'm gonna go beat them up. So no, I don't really have that problem. I've never really had to deal with that situation. Most people I fight, whether I got my hand raised or dad got my hand raised at Korshkov, threw the worst whooping in my life and anything ever. Like he whooped my butt. I got mad respect for the guy. I love that guy. He's awesome. So a ton of respect for Korshkov. I like Korshkov. We message each other back and forth on Instagram and whatnot. He's a good dude. So like, that guy gave me a whooping. If I can like him, I don't have a problem with liking people in that way. But just with liking fighting somebody you don't like, I've never really had that issue before.
Thank you. When you go into the 26th minute of what is likely to be a violent physical chess match, as the first one was, is it about who makes the adjustments this time around, do you think? I
think for sure. I think a huge part. People see the punching, the kicking, the blood, the gore, but they don't realize there is a chess match to that, and it's all about those little small adjustments. Your timing, a half second too slow, a half second faster. Getting the punch aimed down a little bit lower because he's a little bit shorter. So a lot of punches went a little bit too high, but now you're punching down lower for the past 3-4 months, getting ready for that. All those little small, tiny adjustments, they play a huge factor into the fight, into who gets a hand raised next. And I made sure I did all my work, crossed my T's, dotted my I's, and make sure that I did just that in preparation for this fight.
Thank you. Final one from me. You've been working with Crouch, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. Is he there with you?
Not right now. No, they did not allow any corners into the media area room.
No. I mean, but he's in Mohegan with you, yeah? But he's in Mohegan.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Knowing him, he doesn't leave a stone unturned. Have you guys done anything about there being no audience psychologically?
No, I just a lot of talking about it. I have myself, did a visualization. I made sure I was at the very first UFC event cornering a good buddy, John McDessie. I cornered him for the very first UFC event where there was no crowd. And, you have to say the right things to the fighter. Like, oh, it's not a big deal. Go out there and go do your thing. No crowd. It's okay. No big deal. But then, my buddy Rob Benson and I, my striking coach, we were walking out cornering John, and we looked at each other like, wow, this is kind of crazy. Like, there's no crowd here. Like, this is definitely different. Yeah. But then we looked at John like, oh, it's okay. No big deal. Like, go get him. Go do your thing. Like, you have to say the right thing to the athlete. But me as a coach, looking at my buddy, at John, I was like, oh man, like this is different. I wonder how he's feeling in there with no crowd. Like this is different. So I made sure that I went out and I had one competition. I did a jiu-jitsu competition for a Fight to Win Pro where they had no crowd. So I actually got to experience it one time, walking out, having no crowd, silent, and then competing just to make sure there was nothing in the back of my head about going out there competing with no crowd. Is not going to be my first time. Great to see you, Benson. You look great. You sound great. Best of luck for Friday night, mate. Thank you, Gareth. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right. Our last question for Benson will come from Ben Keeley. Your line is live.
Benson. So I understand your wife recently gave birth to a baby girl. So congratulations, Benson. How does it feel to be a father again?
It's good. It's great. That whole no sleep thing when the babies are newborns, that's a real thing. That's tough. But it's great. My boys, they all love their little sister to death. They smother her in kisses. They're like, oh, he's up, gentle. But they love her to death. So it's awesome to see their love for her. She's a little bundle of joy to my wife right now. Just staying close to my wife. But yeah, she's awesome. Being a father for the fourth time, it's fun. It's an
Any
adventure.
more children planned?
No. The day my wife found out, the day we found out we were pregnant for the fourth time, it was unexpected. It was unplanned. But the day we found out, my wife was like, "Oh, hey, we're pregnant. Oh, hey, by the way, I made a phone call. You're scheduled for an appointment to go see a doctor, get sniffed." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's no problem." So no more children for the team Henderson.
Oh, fantastic. And I know with all the lockdown measures, have you picked up any new hobbies, or have the children been kind of keeping you busy during the lockdown?
Yeah, mostly the kids have kept us pretty busy. No new hobbies for me. I got three. I got a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old, and they are, pretty wild, full of energy. So trying to keep them busy, contained, productive, and somewhat learning, so they're not, missing out too much. That have my handfuls.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Benson.
Yeah, of course, Ben.
All right. Thank you very much,